Happy Tuesday, everybody. Welcome to All Things Creepy with Ghostly Travels. Lee and Patty. Hello, Patty.
Hey, everyone. Hi.
Hope everybody's having a great week so far. We're getting closer to Halloween. So looking forward to that. Hope everybody had a great weekend. I know we did. We were busy. Real quick, prayers to my mom. The weekend started off bad for me. Mainly for her. She was taken to the emergency room by my sister and found out she has pneumonia. So she has been on antibiotics now for a few days. So she feels like it's going from one lung to the other. So, that pain, she's feeling all of that. So she's feeling better. I can tell she's coming around, and I want to thank everybody that reached out, prayed. I really appreciate it. Prayers do work. So really appreciate everybody's support. And then Saturday, we got up bright and early. Patty, Jim, and I, we headed to Peru, Indiana. Where did we go, Patty?
Well, we went to the Miami County Fairgrounds for the 6th annual Para-Unity.
Yeah. And got to see some friends and also meet new friends. So that was awesome. We had our booth set up there, and I think our table was what the true Para-Unity table is. We actually had North Central Indiana with us, Bob and Denise. And then we also had Sean Kaleta with us, sharing, his Para magazine, it came from the podcast. We had a lot of people coming up and intrigued. We were giving away free marketing. So that right there is, to me, it's true Para-Unity in a nutshell. And we had a really good time on that. And seeing people was fun. They had a really good flow of kids dressed up for Halloween. So, the tables, if you weren't there, the tables had candy. People were coming around. We were giving candy out. The kids were having a good time. Then they did a costume contest. A lot of the kids, they were walking around with little numbers. So they had judges to pick the best costumes. Then they were doing tables.
What was your favorite?
What's that?
Of those children, what was your favorite costume? Because I know mine.
Mine was the kid that had the glow hands with the glow skull, the green, because it was green, of course. That's my color. What was yours?
Yeah. Mine's actually a tie between two. We had little Wednesday Addams. She was about, 2 years old?
Probably 2 or 3.
And then
I forgot about
there was
Wednesday.
another one. Yep, another one. Again, probably 2 or 3, dressed like a grandma. But the best part about that was, as she approached our table, beyond us was Michael Myers standing up by the stage, just standing there. And he had her so scared she wouldn't move, and she started to cry. And one of the ladies went up and chased Michael away, and he ran off. And then that little girl was brave again. It was so cute.
That's what it's all about, right? And the kid that was playing Michael Myers was a little older kid, and he was doing good. He wasn't talking, so he was actually playing the role. So like I was telling Jim when I saw him, I was like, watch this. Let me go see if I can kick him out of the role to see if he says anything. Nope. So, and as he walked away, he gave me a thumbs up, and I'm like, good job, buddy. And so it's about kids. Halloween is a fun time. Fall is a great time. I really had a good time. Next week, not this weekend, but next weekend, we have a thing that we're doing with, share a little bit about it.
So my delay down here is really bad. I think
really
you
bad.
asked me to share about what we're doing. Yeah.
Yes.
So not this weekend, but the next, for Day of the Dead, we are again, we will be out at the Stiver School for the arts, and we'll be stationed in a couple of different areas within the school. It's here in Dayton, built in, I believe, 1908. And they are doing a Day of the Dead celebration. It's called Spectre Stroll. So this is a fundraiser for the school. So of course, for all of these events, we donate our time. We enjoy sharing our passion with other people and helping the school raise money. They send these students for auditions in New York, or to buy new equipment or new musical instruments or whatever it may be. So we got to visit the school 2 weekends ago, and it was a really interesting night. The school is not open for investigations. So the fact that we will be stationed in 2 separate places just to kind of camp out and show our equipment and show how we investigate, we are very excited. And, I'm just really looking forward to that one. And actually, it's a daytime thing. It is a 2 to 6 p.m. So they are going to have a Day of the Dead. I don't know if the word celebration is correct, but kind of an honoring ceremony. Something real. And true to what it should be. And I have no idea what that should be, but they do have people who that is their culture, and it will be culturally accurate. So I'm really excited also to see that, see what else is going on over there.
It's going to be a fun day, and to be part of it, we're honored. Like Patty said, we're just helping raise money for these children, for the arts. We don't charge a dime. We're doing paranormal because we love it and to help others. So that's what it's all about to us. Like Brian Fuller said back about the Para-Unity 6, all about para-unity. Yes. People have been taking that word para-unity. When it started a few years ago, when people were bringing it up, it was a great thing. Then people started talking about it as it was people just use that. They still have egos, yada, yada, yada. And I do get it. And there are some people out there that do. But that doesn't mean that it doesn't exist, because it does exist. Because just like I mentioned, our table, that's para-unity. We had friends there, not in our building, but also in the other building. That para-unity, we're growing, I got to meet some people that I really like to see on Facebook, and that's Vipers. That's Jim Brown and Kathy, great people. It was a fun time. This guy right here, Tim, it was nice to see Tim as he walked in the side like Elvis Presley entering the building. Good guy. I really known him for a long time. But yeah, so it is a fun thing. And that's what we need to get back to. We need to get back to helping each other as teams, letting each other share, don't hound what the person posts. You weren't there. I see that all the time when someone posts a video clip or an audio clip. Some of the comments, well, I wasn't there. How do I know it's real? Come on, people. Let's don't be that way. Let's be supportive. If we see more of that, that's what it's all about. Let's see, Bob. You see him back there? There he is. It was a great event, Tim. It was really a true great event. What's Sean saying? I'm pretty sure Tim had a full security detail too. Yes, he did. But let's stop what we're talking about. This week's guest, some may know, some may not know, Sean Kaleta. I met Sean, it was over a year ago before we did the Para-Unity last year. We just walked through, and I was on his podcast that he had prior to what he has now. It came from the past, the podcast. And then I got to meet him finally, and that's what Para-Unity is about. And like Tim just said right here, Indiana peeps are good peeps. So let's don't waste no more time. Let's bring him in. Welcome, Sean.
Howdy. How we doing?
We are doing fantastic. How are you on this Tuesday evening?
I'm not doing too bad. Not doing too bad at all. Taking some time to spend a little time with some friends. I mean, does it get better than that? I don't think so.
I don't either. I think it was yeah. You mean you was all over the place, seeing people and
Yeah. Yeah, it's been a busy week. I had my podcast last night, on yours tonight, tomorrow. For people that know me, I've been in the pro wrestling business for about 15 years, and I'm actually doing the first wrestling podcast that I've done in a really long time. And then on Friday, I've been invited on Spooky Japan's podcast. So it's a busy week.
I love those two ladies. I was on their show a few months ago.
Yeah.
Just hearing some of the history in China, or Japan, it was phenomenal.
Yeah, I'm excited for it.
We talked for 2 hours.
Oh, wow.
She goes, however long you want to go. I said, well, I have a couple more questions. So I turned their podcast into me interviewing them.
Made it all about you, Lee.
Yeah, because, I was like, you know what?
He does that.
I just I don't want to talk about me. I want to talk about you because where you are is cool.
Right.
Oh, here's a guy that just popped in. What's up, Pete?
Phil Gibson. I love that man.
Me too, man. That guy, I tell you what, he should be one of them storm chasers, right?
Yeah, man. Phil's one of the first people that I really got to be good friends with in this world of the paranormal, and what a guy, man.
He is. He's a true nice guy. Now, I finally got to meet him at Para-Unity last year.
Mm-hmm.
These Indiana peeps, man. They're just great people.
That's
So,
right.
a little bit about Sean. You're from Fort Wayne, correct?
Yep, just outside of Fort Wayne, but we'll say Fort Wayne just to keep it simple. I live in Amish country, pretty much.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
We like going through Amish, areas because I love watching the young kids. It's like when we go to, we were coming up to meet Denise and Bob at an event, at an investigation, and we at them head into the Monroe House. But the way it took me to go, we stopped at a gas station and we left, and this little Amish boy was on a scooter and he was like kicking ass. And I'm like, man, I was like, they live a totally different world, but they travel the same paths that we do,
Well, you'd be surprised. Every myth that you have about the Amish, I can probably dispel for you, because I work with the Amish too, actually. So.
Oh, cool.
We made Phil blush. Oh. That's funny. But yeah, I live just outside the Fort Wayne area.
Okay. And you did mention something, and I got some little notes here. You mentioned something about the professional wrestling, Heroes and Legends.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's one of the companies I work for.
Share a little bit about that. How did you get involved in that? Was it just you're intrigued in the wrestling just like you was when you was a kid? Because I know I was as a kid.
That's part of it. Actually, it's a funny story, and I love to tell it because when I used to do podcasts with the wrestling, people would love to hear the story. I'll say it the politically correct way because it's been 15 years, and I think I have to do that in order to tell the story. But I grew up a pro wrestling fan. I mean, I was always watching the WWF back in the day, and Junkyard Dog was my favorite wrestler. And, sitting at home watching wrestling, it's entertaining, obviously, and it's not for everybody. I learned later in life that it's just a soap opera for men that we spend a whole lot of money on, and they put a lot of money into to put on. But I was working at a Sam's Club. I was in the cell phone business for a number of years, and I was working in a Sam's Club here in Fort Wayne, and I had a guy come up to me, and I was helping him out with some stuff, and he gave me a couple tickets, and he said, hey, we've got some little people wrestling happening in downtown Fort Wayne tonight if you want to come out. And my first thought was, oh my gosh, that's going to be the most entertaining thing I've ever seen in my life. You know, I was ready to go out and laugh because I'd never seen it before. I'd never heard of it before. And so I thought it was just some kind of funny thing. So I ended up going down there, and it was actually some of the most incredible wrestling that I've ever seen. You know, you don't really associate little people with wrestling, but now there's entire companies devoted to it, especially down in Tennessee. So I went to this event, and it was about 3/4 of the way through, and I saw this guy sitting at the ticket table, and he was a big guy. Like, he looked like a wrestler. He had on some wrestling gear and DX for life. That's right. Got 2 words for you. Anyway, so I went over and I started talking to this guy, and turns out he was a pro wrestler, and he actually worked for the WWF back in the mid-90s. He was a tag team partner for Bam Bam Bigelow.
Oh, wow.
And they used to do what they called house shows. They still do, which are basically non-televised events. They'll come out here to Fort Wayne and do a house show. It's, you know, not broadcast on TV. So his name was actually, they called him Blaze Bigelow and Bam Bam. So, you know, I got to talking with him, and his name ended up being Jason Maples, who is still my best friend to this day. I talked to him yesterday, and told him about my interest in wrestling. And I said, you know, what does somebody even have to do to be involved in this? And so after a brief talk, he said, you know, I'm getting ready to do a show here in the next couple of weeks. Do you want to come out and film the show for me? I said, yeah, absolutely. That sounds like fun. So long story short, a few years goes by. That company, which was the EWF, which Bob Schuler might actually have heard of that. They used to run out of Marion, Indiana. That company in 2012, which would have been about 2 years, probably about 2 years after I started working with him, that company became Heroes and Legends Wrestling, and took on a whole new course where instead of running little shows in parking lots or in movie theaters, we started getting bigger event centers. And eventually, we did our second big show, which our shows actually turned into conventions. So it was huge wrestling convention followed by a show in the evening. So we'd have all these pro wrestlers that we all grew up watching on TV, and, you know, some more current wrestlers. And it was just, if you were into wrestling at any point in your life, there was somebody there that you knew. So I've gotten to meet some amazing people. But we ran our second show at Parkview Field, and eventually we moved to the Coliseum. So we were running shows at the Fort Allen County War Memorial Coliseum on a permanent basis.
Nice. That's big, right?
Yeah. I mean, we're talking a couple thousand people. You know, we're no WWE, of course, but so eventually, Jason, the person who got me into all this, moved down to Tennessee, and we started running less shows up here in Fort Wayne a year, but we started Heroes and Legends Smoky Mountain Wrestling down where he's at. So we run a couple of big shows down there, and we're actually coming back to Tennessee next April is when we're getting back into the swing of things. So I basically took my love for pro wrestling and watching it to being a part of it. And I eventually became the director of operations for the company. So basically what that means is the owner of the company sits up front, greets the people as they come in, does all the work up front, and I take care of everything else. I make sure everybody's where they're at, doing what they're doing. And, you know, I won't give up any secrets of the business, but there's quite a bit more to it than, you know, we see as fans watching it on TV. But I've gotten to meet a lot of amazing people and made some great friends. And I also now work for a company out of Warsaw, Indiana, called the FWF, and we're also running shows here in Fort Wayne now, as well as Warsaw. So I stay pretty busy with the pro wrestling.
That is cool. You know, because there is a lot to that. I mean, those guys are true athletes, and those ladies.
Yeah.
I mean, and they have to leave there hurting because some of that stuff, I mean, it's going to hurt.
Oh yeah. Yeah, people, their first argument is, it's all fake, right? I'm like, no,
No, it's not.
it's really not.
No.
I wouldn't classify it as a sport necessarily, but it's entertainment. It falls in the entertainment category. But I'll invite anybody in a ring at any time to take one chop to the chest from a person of my choosing, and if you still tell me it's fake, then I don't know what's wrong with you.
Yeah, I don't know what's wrong with if you want to take that chance.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sitting here thinking that on a normal basis, it's rare that our paths would even cross, with your background with the wrestling and his background in fire, mine in asphalt, of all things.
Yeah.
Yet the one shared passion of paranormal, and here we all are, and that's what I love. I love to hear. I'm always a big fan of hearing the backstories and knowing now that you are like this man of mystery with all these secrets about the Amish, about wrestling.
International man of mystery.
Hold on, and then add his voice. Don't he have that podcast radio host voice? Like,
I know.
I always think of an old song, George Jones. They're coming.
I can hit those low notes. I can hit that baby, lock those doors and turn the lights down low. I can do that.
Which I love it.
Yeah, I get that all the time.
I'm like, I just get so in tune. Like last night I was on there, or I'm on them every Monday, and I'm just like, man, he's got that voice.
and according to Phil from Bump in the Night Society, I also have a face for radio.
There you go.
Many do.
Yeah, I've been told that many, many times.
The face for radio.
Yeah. But yeah, it's funny how like Patty was saying, how paths cross because of one thing that we have in common. And me getting into the paranormal, I mean, I think at some point we've probably all been interested in ghosts and stuff like that as kids or whatever. I always attribute my start of my interest to my favorite show of all time, paranormal show, Paranormal State. That was what got me into the paranormal. Still my favorite show to this day. I watch episodes over and over all the time. There's no show like that anymore. But yeah, it's funny how paths cross, and they're probably meant to cross at some point in time.
That's what they say. You're always supposed to be in someone's life for a reason. It may be just the short term or long term. There's a reason. I
think we're all still trying to figure out why Phil Gibson's in our lives, but
Yeah, right. That guy.
That guy.
So
probably to show us awesome space pictures.
I know, man, because I have to enter. I was wanting him to show up this past weekend, and I know he's pushed away from the paranormal a little bit, doing other things.
Sure.
But Jim's big into astronomy, and Jim's the same way as Phil. I was talking to Jim Friday. He came to the hospital to meet me to see Mom. He said, I got to see her. And then we were talking about it that evening. And he goes, I was showing him some of pictures of Phil as what Phil took. And he was like, I got to meet this guy. And I'm like, well, hopefully tomorrow. Well, he didn't show up. So
yeah, well, I was hoping, man.
Yeah, way to go, Phil.
Let us all down.
Way to hurt our feelings.
But yeah, seriously, I mean, big shout out for Phil Gibson. If you guys want to see some amazing space photography, oh my goodness, it's incredible.
Yeah, I mean, just like was it Friday night or not Friday night, the comet that came through. Yeah, and I was like showing Jim some photos. He goes, oh yeah, but mine don't look half as good as these. Jim's using this, like, it just kills me how people use telescope and then they put a camera down into the telescope to get the cool photo. And I'm like, I would have never thought of that.
Yeah, no.
That's just not me.
No.
And it's like, oh yeah, well, this is caught from a telescope with a 35, or a DL, it's whatever you want to call the Canon or whatever they're using, the icons. And I'm like, what? What do you got to duct tape to the?
I use my phone and hope I don't get a blurry moon picture. That's pretty.
Well, that's what I did the other night with the Northern Lights. I ran out to see.
Yeah.
And they said, "Oh, you're not going to be able to see it with the naked eye. You're going to have to use your phone." So of
Yep.
course, I missed it. But my neighbor across the street, he's big into astronomy as well. And then 30 minutes later, he caught some cool photos, and I'm like, I didn't see those. There he is. Almost made the drive down. Dude, you would have had a new friend, Jim.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I've led Jim to his Facebook, so hopefully they've connected.
Cool.
And I messaged Phil about it too. So
there you go.
Now, Sean, you've been busy this year. You have been busy within the last few months of doing your own things. I mean,
yeah. Last couple
we all
months.
go through these changes of life to where, like we were just mentioning, people come in our lives for a reason.
Mhm.
They're here long term or short term.
Right.
When those doors close, multiple doors open.
We hope they do. Yeah.
Yeah. And well, they have for you. I mean, think of this.
Yeah.
You have a lot going on. I mean, you're keeping yourself busy up here, busy. And the first one is, I'm going to pop it up. Let's talk about this one.
Terminal.
Yeah, hold on one second, everyone.
We forgot what button to press.
Yeah, I did.
It's the one that says "Do not push."
Right.
this one.
Right. I want to make sure I hit the right one. Okay.
Yeah, that'd be great. There you go.
Yeah, I want to go in sequence here.
Yes.
This one right here. Love the picture. Love the picture. It's got what I see in this picture, okay, is the people look like from the birds, right? The killer birds, and then you got the UFO. All this stuff is really cool. It's like Twilight Zone.
It's kind of based off the old 40s and 50s sci-fi movies.
I love that.
You know, I wanted to go a bit of a different direction with this podcast. I didn't want it to be all about ghosts and spooky stuff. So, you know, I opened it up to everything in the paranormal and unexplained. As you can see, there are cryptids, creatures, aliens, UFOs, conspiracies, paranormal, and more. And so far in the podcast, I've had everybody. We had Dave Spinks on a couple of weeks ago talking about cryptids. I've had on Dustin Perry. Of course, we talked a little bit about the spooky stuff, but that one was more a mental health related type of episode. I had on Father Kent Torres last night. We talked about demonology and how that affects the field and how that's being utilized on social media. I mean, a variety of topics. I wanted to keep it open and not pigeonhole myself into a certain category. And so I figured that graphic was kind of appropriate.
I like it because that's when, we had a podcast years ago. It was called Looking Into the Unknown.
Mm-hmm.
We did it for 6 or 7 years.
Okay.
And we quit. And that was about 2018. And then I was telling Patty beginning of this year, I said, we need to get our show back on something. So then, all things creepy. I was like, like you, I don't want to stay on one topic.
Mm-hmm.
I want to go all over the paranormal.
Right.
Like you say, conspiracies and much more. I like, and more. Let's talk about, eventually I want to have people on. I want to hear people's eyewitnesses of, their footage. Pop it up here. If it's a video, show the video of something they caught. Is it Bigfoot? Is it the Mothman? Because we have so many people that's got interest in so many different things, and we can't just have a podcast based on what we love. Exactly.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I tried to go a little bit different of a direction. I have so many ideas up in my head, but there were a few that I really wanted to do. And, I'm not going to say that I was waiting for the opportunity to do them, but as everybody knows previously, I was with the Old World Paranormal podcast. I was part of that for 126 episodes. We had 25,000 listeners in over 40 countries. So I knew that if I ever wanted to do another podcast, I would hope it would be as successful. So I always had the idea of what I would do if I was ever going to do it. I was not just sitting on these ideas waiting to pull the trigger on them. They were just stuff I kind of had stored away. Like, if I'm ever going to do this, here's what I want to do. And that's kind of the direction that I've been going lately. I have the opportunity. And so, run it up the flagpole and see how it waves. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But I might as well try, keep myself busy at the same time.
Absolutely. And you got a supporter right here, because
I appreciate you.
Days I'm always chiming in.
Yeah.
And share your stuff. Because that's what it's all about. Because your welcome is to help people get it out there farther. And that's what it's all about, because I love what you're doing.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Phil here. Hate to get going, my friends. Sean, everyone watching, have an awesome night. You too, Phil.
Bye, Phil.
See you later.
Chiming in, man. Have a good night, buddy. Go out there and get some more pictures. I know that's where you're headed. It's a clear night, and that's where you go.
What I was going to say too was I put the word out. When I released the news, I was doing this podcast, and it was just incredible the amount of people that reached out to me wanting to be a part of it, which, it was mind-blowing. But my original plan was to do the podcast on Monday night so that I wouldn't interfere with, a couple of other podcasts out there. I didn't want to step on toes. And it's to the point now where I have some episodes that I have to do 2 episodes a week or 2 episodes a night. And I don't mind. I think it's fantastic that so many people want to be a part. The episodes are typically around 40 minutes or so. The idea was that you hop in your car on your way to work, hit play on the new episode, maybe finish it by the time you get to work. So, just changed a couple of things. And like I said, just see what works and what doesn't.
Absolutely. And I know when you posted just the test, the first one, you had a special person with you that I have not seen.
I did.
Here. Yeah. What happened?
Yeah. That is my daughter, Hannah. At the time, she was playing soccer for school. She started high school this year. So she would have practices every day and games a few times through the week. So she's been on for a little bit for a couple episodes, but when she has a little more time, I'm sure she'll join up a little bit more. But she's interested in what I do. When we were with the Bell Mansion back a couple years ago, her and I spent so much time there, and really got her interested in the paranormal. And she's been to a couple different locations. So yeah, she's got the interest, and kind of see what direction that goes. My wife, on the other hand, no interest at all. She supports me in what I do, but she has zero interest in any of it, which is fine. So yeah, it's a little weird.
And that's cool that you get to share that with your daughter,
Yeah.
Because she may turn around and want to get involved in the podcast. She may want to get involved more in depth in the paranormal.
Yeah. And actually, one of the classes that she's taking in high school now is a broadcasting class.
Watch out there.
so that might be something that she'll get a little bit more interested in. So we'll see.
Yeah, that is so cool. And hats off to the new podcast. Yeah, guys, definitely check him out. Go to YouTube. Go to Sean Kaleta on YouTube. You will enjoy the show 100%.
I hope.
And just hearing, some people that you may not, you may see them on Facebook, but you really, if you shot them a message, they may not reach out. But to actually hear their life story, because they're just human beings like us. Some of these celebrities are just like us. They eat, they sleep, they put their clothes on the same as we do. And definitely go to hear Sean's podcast.
Yeah, and we've got a great lineup coming up, for everybody that's watching or listening right now. These next few weeks of November are going to be pretty amazing. Next week we've got Mr. Bob Freeman. Bob is an amazing guy. If you don't know him, he is the occult detective. He is, let's just say that he is a wealth of knowledge about a wide variety of topics. The last time I spoke to him in a podcast, we talked about the Knights Templar. But he also owns a haunted location. Just a super cool guy. He also does writing for the comic book Vampirella. So if you've ever heard of the Vampirella comic, he's a writer for Vampirella. He was at the Unity convention as well that we were at. And then on November 4th, I've got Sean Austin. The 11th, Leah and Mike from L&M Paranormal. On the 18th, I've got Mike Ricksecker. And then on the 25th, the amazing Chelsea Gill. So in November alone, we've got, we're starting off with Sean Austin. So we'll be talking about psychic mediumship and Sean's ability to help spirits pass on from this life, or the afterlife, I guess, to pass on from that and go where they need to go. L&M Paranormal, that's going to be mostly paranormal and also a little bit of psychic mediumship too. Mike Ricksecker, we're going to talk about aliens and triangles and all that fun stuff. And so trying to keep it fresh, keep cool topics coming.
Sounds great. And speaking of Sean, we bought his new app last night, SPI.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Oh, let's talk about that. Okay, I'm not shy. I was like, what? I downloaded it. I was like, I'm gonna go.
I don't have it. I didn't know. I don't have it yet, so I want to hear your impressions. It's number 7 in sales on the iTunes or App Store purchases.
App Store for iOS, yes.
Yeah.
And so I download. I go up. I'm in the restroom. I'm changing. I said I'm going to use it because our daughter, she's now 24 years old. When she would go in and take a shower in our bathroom, because she said, I want to use your shower, she would close our closet door. So you walk from our master bedroom to the master bath, and then you go through there. Then that's our closet, our walk-in closet. Well, every time she'd go in there to take a shower, she'd close our closet door. And she goes, there's a scary person in there. And she did a little paranormal as she got, she was in her teenage years, and I was sharing with Patty. I was like, she's got the ability. And so she pushed it away, and that, that's fine. She doesn't want to get involved in that. And so last night I was in there, and I just, it's a really cool EVP app. Well, this girl came up. And her name was, she came in and introduced herself as Jess. And then she said her name was Jessica. She gave me her last name. She said she's here in our house. She's trapped. She wouldn't tell me the guy that's got her trapped. She said no, but she said, all I can say is call him sir. I said, where are you from? Now, where we live is Trenton, Ohio. There's a town adjacent right next to us called Middletown, Ohio. And she said Middletown. Now, I mean, this thing is like, I'm like, so Patty comes in the room and she goes into the bathroom and she gets this, was it an ointment or something you had?
No, it's my face wash.
Okay. And you go, that smell came across to you downstairs. And so I'm like, well, look what this girl is sharing. I mean, she gave me her last name. She gave me where she's from. She gave me a year, 1996. At that, oh my God, I'm getting activity. I'm getting sounds. I'm like, Sean has something here. So I sent him a message. And on the iPhone, as I screenshotted the pictures, 2 of them. And I was like, you got to look at this. And he goes, oh, damn. And he said, I said, I've only had this thing probably 30 minutes. So I stopped it, did it again. And I was like, hey, is anyone here? I'm in the bedroom at this time. I said, is anyone with me? And she goes, yeah, it's me, Jess. And I'm like, what? And she told me she's in the corner of our bedroom. And I pointed the corner and she goes, yes. And we've got this thing that our daughter made. She crocheted. It's hanging in from her ceiling. And I said, is there anything above you? And she goes, yes, look. And I'm like, I started getting like goosebumps. I'm like, this is creepy, man. This is creepy. So yeah, we had it last night. It's Definitely worth $14.99. I told Patty, I looked at her, I said, I've already got my $14.99 out of it. We started looking her up, seeing if we could find any missing people, obituaries, nothing really for her name.
Okay.
But there
Not
was
yet, at
something.
least.
Yeah, so it was interesting, that it was, real quick response. You can barely get a year out of some of the paranormal equipment. This thing's 76. So basically what it's like is it's like the Bill Chappell, the paranormal puck.
Okay.
But you're not typing in your question, you're just pushing down this little button and you're using your voice like you do on your smart TVs.
Okay.
And then the question will come up, and then what'll pop up is it'll say listening. And then your answer will come up once, because it's going in different frequencies.
Mm-hmm.
And oh my God, just crazy.
Have you ever had the chance to investigate with Sean, like in person?
We did. We investigated with him and Bob and Denise and Patty and Jim and I at the Jim Jones Boyhood Church.
Okay. Yeah.
And,
I investigated with Sean in Gettysburg and had one of the most profound experiences I've ever had in the paranormal. So I know, having worked with Sean, that if this app is anything like that, I can't imagine. I'll be getting it eventually. But
yeah, you got to get it. It is a really cool app. It's something. And it's good for if you're doing public events. We do a lot of public ghost classes events. It's great for that,
right?
Because you can put it on a tablet. So since I've already got it, my tablet's hooked. So I think when you go to it, you can share it with 6 other people if they're on your account. So my tablet, someone put it on my tablet, so it'll be bigger.
There you go.
So it's really cool.
Awesome.
So that released yesterday, and like Sean Kaleta said, it's number 7 in iOS apps.
Yeah.
He doesn't know when it's going to be released for Android yet, but it will be soon. So everybody will get their chance.
Yeah, that's what I'm waiting for, is the Android version. So
yeah. So then there's another thing that you do.
Yeah, there's all kind of good stuff.
You're just full of all kinds of surprises. Let me bring that one up. This one is really cool.
There you go.
Para, all things paranormal.
Yeah.
Now you was teasing us for a while with just that.
I was.
Yeah.
What is para?
What is he doing? I was thinking, okay, this was me looking outside in.
Uh-huh.
Is this got something to do with this podcast? And I'm sure there was a lot more people doing the same thing. Like,
yeah, what could it be? I like to have little teases out there just to get people talking.
And then you didn't add digital magazine.
No, that was added later. This is again another one of the ideas that I've had in my head for a while, and magazines, paper magazines, are typically kind of expensive to produce. I on a good news part of that, though, I've actually found a place that does them for relatively cheap. So hopefully in the future, if everything goes the way I hope it goes, I'll be able to do a paper version at some point. But right now, I figure it's going to be easier to distribute, less expensive. But I wanted to do a magazine, and I know there's a few different ones out there, and this is not meant to be competition for any of that. This is just something fun. But each episode is going to be full of different content, not unlike the podcast. Each episode episode issue. I don't know what I'm doing anymore.
Going from one thing to the other.
One thing that each issue will have in common is every month I'm going to spotlight a paranormal investigator or a team. So it could be somebody from a TV show. It could be an investigative team from Kansas. I'm also going to spotlight a haunted location. It may be a brand new location. It may be a not so well-known location. It might be a really well-known location. And then I'm going to have articles from different people in the paranormal community. It will have articles about ghosts or spirits, some things legend and lore. I mean, it's going to be a wide variety of things. I'll be working on 2 issues at a time. So right now I'm working on the November and December issues. And if you're interested, I actually have some covers I can show off here to give people an idea of what to expect. I'll probably kind of hold these up a little bit. Should be able to see them all right.
Yeah.
Let's see. So issue 1, spotlight there on the investigative team of L&M Paranormal. The Bell Mansion is going to be the spotlighted haunted location, place
Cool.
that's very, very near and dear to me. Father Ken Torres, we're going to talk about how the old hashtag demon, how you put demon on your YouTube video and all
Everybody
your other
loves
social media. Yep. Which is a trend that's starting to go away, fortunately.
it.
But, does that affect anything when you're doing that other than people wanting to tune in? The December issue is going to be pretty neat as well. In this one, I've got an article about the candy cane. What's the story behind the candy cane? Because believe it or not, there really is one. We're going to talk about Krampus and Santa Claus. The spotlighted.
Krampus. Our son's in Austria. Don't get going about Krampus. Our son is in Austria.
Yeah.
And when that time comes around, he does not go on the streets. And he is 26 years old. Am I wrong, honey?
No, you are right.
Because they do that over there. They will actually grab you and cover you up and take you out of town and blindfold you. Then you got to find your way. He goes, nope, I don't play on those nights.
That's funny. That's funny.
So that's going to be a good issue there. And
so we'll be talking about that. The 1889 McIntyre Villa in Atchison, Kansas is the spotlight location for that. We've got some Christmas tales with Adam Shefts, the Victorian historian. If you're not familiar with him, go to Facebook, look up Adam Shefts, Shefts. Got some incredible books out there. And then Dustin Perry's my investigator spotlight because he is the king of Christmas. So that's his favorite holiday. And it is to go through a couple more here. Oh, I actually have the cover of that one with the Krampus and Santa head to head.
Yeah.
Then the January issue, we're spotlighting the Monroe House. And you might recognize our investigator spotlight for this issue.
Oh, I don't know them. Are they good guys? Gals?
That would be Paravision's Paranormal Society.
I've never shared that with nobody. I wanted you to do it.
Well, there you go. So we'll have we'll have an awesome interview with you guys, and you'll be able to read about this team and some of their antics. And then, interestingly enough, something that came up on social media today was Lauren Hellickson. There's some things people are doing and not very cool with Lauren. And coincidentally enough, we're going to be talking about Lauren Hellickson's crystal pods, so that'll be pretty cool too. The February issue is we have somebody that I've interviewed before. His name is Les Durant, and he has photographs that he's taken of unidentified flying objects, unidentified aerial phenomena. And so we have an interview with him and some photos that he's captured, which I've seen some, and wow, talk about compelling.
Yeah, that's what I love.
Yeah.
I get interested in that, then I start freaking out and looking around like, man. I'm waiting for the SUV to pull up, right?
Our investigator spotlight for February is the Wicked Wiccan Sisters.
Oh, nice.
Oh, nice.
Great ladies. Great ladies.
And this is my favorite cover for March, partially because I'm Irish, but we'll be talking about banshees, Irish folklore, talking about Loftus Hall in Ireland, which is supposedly the home of the devil. And it's only appropriate that we have the leprechaun and, of course, Barry Fitzgerald from
nice.
Ghost Hunters International, who I had the pleasure of interviewing before as well. So that's just a little teaser. But the first issue, when it is ready to be sent out, I'll definitely have some stuff put on my social media. And the first issue costs you absolutely zero. I want to get it into as many people's hands as I can so they can check it out. If you do like it, and it's something that you'd want to be able to get every month, a new issue, it's only going to be like $2.99. I'm not trying to get rich off of it, but it would be nice to be able to kind of recoup some of that so I can put more into it. And of course, eventually get into that paper edition that you can get in the mail. So yeah, when the first issue comes out, I'll definitely be sure to broadcast it out there and to give it to anybody that wants to check it out. So
there you go. And you know what? I'm going to take this one away. He's got something else cool. Really cool.
There's more.
You know, they
There's
say bad
more.
things come in threes, but so do good things. And
Absolutely.
this one was something that I've had to think about, for a while now. I wasn't sure what my next step was going to be in this particular direction, and it's still kind of in the brand new jar of Play-Doh stages where it's still moldable and malleable.
What
but
is this, Sean?
Well, I think that there's going to be a new paranormal research team on the horizon.
Oh man,
the Lost Boys Paranormal Research. I'm a Disney nut, so that's kind of part of what goes into this logo a little bit. Skull Rock from Peter Pan, and Peter Pan's hiding in the logo somewhere. But a couple things about this. It specifically says paranormal research. That doesn't mean that investigating isn't part of the process, but research is so much more important in the beginning stages. And I kind of have a bit of a mission statement, and it really involves investigating and documenting paranormal phenomena using scientific inquiry, critical thinking, and promoting a deeper understanding of the unexplained. The goal is to dispel myths and misconceptions, provide evidence-based information, and contribute to the advancement of knowledge in the paranormal. We can all fly, as you see there at the bottom. It means we all have the ability to do this. But if you've seen the Peter Pan Disney animated film, they can't fly on their own. You've got to have help. And that kind of ties into the para-unity a bit, a little bit at least. The couple people that I've shared this information with are like, well, the Lost Boys, is it going to be a team of all guys? No, it's not. In no way, shape, or form does it have to be. In the original Disney animated film, it was the Lost Boys. Do you know why it was the Lost Boys without any girls? Any idea?
Patty, do you know?
I have no idea.
Neither do I.
Well, the reason is, believe it or not, because the girls were too smart. The Lost Boys, of which there were 6, actually fell out of their carriages and were lost. The girls were too smart to fall out. So there were never any girls in the Lost Boys. Now in 2023, when they made the film, they included girls in the Lost Boys, but never changed the name. So the Lost Boys does include girls. So there will be females on the team. So it's
very interesting.
Not an exclusive male club. Don't worry.
And the logo is awesome. And what
Thank
Sean,
you.
what I'm sure what Sean stands for is I'm supporting him 100%. So
I appreciate that.
Right here,
very much.
He's sharing this tonight. We
First
are here
time.
to support and help anything we can do and help, because that's what you just said para-unity is about.
Yep. Well, I appreciate the support from you guys. I really do. And from everybody else that sends it my way. I mean, people that I have met in this journey through the paranormal over these last, how many years has it been? Every person has contributed to me in a positive way. even if it might be people that, I'm not on the same relationship with as I was, everyone has contributed something, and I learn from everybody. And to be quite honest, the main thing that made me want to release, this new team and this new information was based on this past weekend at Para-Unity. After sitting through Lauren Hellickson's lecture that she did, it kind of opened my eyes to a few things, and it made me decide now's the time. So, right now I can't say that, here's the members of the team, because it's at this moment there is not. There will be members to this new team. There's not going to be, there will only be a few. It's not going to be a big old team. And, I'll have more information coming about this too, but, I'm excited. This is the last announcement that I'm going to have for a long time. This is it. I can only do three at a
he
time.
threw 3 out there, guys. And
yeah,
throws them out there. And what I like is there's people out there that says something's coming soon, but you never see it. But this here is coming, and he's doing it.
Yeah, for sure.
It's clear that there has been a ton of thought and planning and research already, and that just tells me that, you're dedicated, and I think it will all be successful. I love this, we can all fly, different people come together for a reason. And, that's what I always say. You build teams based on certain people's backgrounds, knowledge, expertise. So I can't wait to see what comes of it.
Yeah. Same here.
Well, once this all kicks off, we'll definitely hopefully be able to share some really cool stuff as that goes along. But this is it's an exciting time. So
absolutely, it's a perfect time. Where can people find you, Sean, on these things here, these 3 things that we threw at them the past hour?
Well, I am the podcast. You can find me on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook at It Came From The Podcast. Every Tuesday night, we are live on YouTube with the podcast at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you want to join the conversation, you have the ability to type in the comments and ask questions. I refer those comments or questions to the guests that I have on at the time. So if you ask a question, it's probably going to get answered, which I think is pretty cool. Makes it a little more interactive. Para Magazine, right now I just have on Facebook. I think that's kind of where I'm going to keep that one at. If you are interested in writing an article, if you have some things you'd like to submit, if you want to tell a story of an experience that you've had, whatever the case may be, you can just send an email to Parazine, Parazine @yahoo.com, and I'll take a look at what you send me, and we'll get it in there. There's room in the magazine for everybody and at every topic. So if you've got stories, if you have photos, I've had people send me articles. I'll put it in the magazine. If you're a paranormal team, if you own a business, send me information. I'll put it in the magazine. Free advertising. That's what it's about. It's a magazine for the community. So, and again, first issue is free. So once I'm ready to get that into people's hands, I'll release that information on that Paramag Facebook page, so you'll know how to get a hold of that. And then as far as the new team is concerned, I don't have anything for that yet, social media wise. And I don't know exactly when I will, but when I do, I'll put it out there, and I'm sure people will help move that information along.
Absolutely. Well, Sean, we really appreciate you coming on tonight.
I appreciate you having me.
Absolutely. It was great seeing you last weekend.
And I appreciate you having me at the Para-Unity at your table too. That meant a lot.
Yep. We're here. We're here for you, everyone. That's what it's about, is to be there, because we can get farther in this field if we help each other.
We can all fly.
It's like anything you do, if you help each other, we can move a lot farther. Just
Yep.
like you build the field, they will come. Right? So so we really appreciate you coming on tonight. It was a blast.
Thank you.
Everybody go check out Sean. Like he said, the magazine. The first issue's free. If you like it, it's only a couple dollars.
Yep.
You're not going to be able to get a soda for that price.
Well, not a pair of Unity.
No, not at
$5
all.
hot dogs, man.
$5 hot dog and a $2 a
that
bag
thing's
of chips.
low.
That was a little steep, wasn't it?
That was funny.
But it was fun.
I supported his business. It's all good.
Absolutely, and that's what we
did too. Yeah,
a local guy there out of Peru. I saw little old man, a great guy. We supported him. So
He left that convention and went and bought a brand new trailer.
sure did. He did. He had enough money. Well, Sean, thanks again for coming on. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Thanks again. Have a good night.
You too.
See ya. All right. That was a great show tonight. Sean's a great guy. Good friend. Glad to have him as a friend. It was great to hang out with him Saturday. He asked, "Hey, what's it cost for me to come and sit at your table?" I said, "It's nothing. I already paid the $25. It's nothing." Trips Paranormal, that was putting it on. They were great. They didn't ask for any money. They just got me some extra seats. Because that's Para Unity. I already paid for the table. I will share before we get off here. Next week, October 29th, we have Judy LaChance, Effigy Paranormal. She's been in the field for a very, very long time. So I look forward to having her on. She's great. We keep in touch with her. Great lady. And then we go into November. The first week of November, we will not be having a radio show because Patty and I will be flying out to Aruba.
Heck yes.
We'll already be in Aruba for the radio show. May go live on there and just talk a little bit of what we're doing, sitting on the beach. But November 12th, we have George Kellogg, an author that reached out to us that wanted to be on the show. Mm-hmm. November 19th, we shared her name a little while ago, Lauren Hellickson. Great down-to-earth girl. So we look forward to having her. November 26th, we've got Larry Eisler III. Then I'm in waiting for a response. December 3rd, everybody knows this girl, Jenny Davis. Who else do I have? December 10th, already locked in, the Wicked Wiccan Sisters. December the 17th, locked in, L&M Paranormal. So we are filling up for the year and moving on into January. So if you know anyone or if you're into anything paranormal, cryptid, I would like to talk to you about some of that. What's some other things you would like to hear about, babe?
I'm a big fan of reading, obviously, so I really look forward to authors, but not only that, I like we had, with our last podcast, we had started reaching out to, people that do search and rescue or psychics that work with missing persons cases, or, I'm always intrigued by true crime and such. Yes. So, weaving the two is what I like. Yeah.
So we would love to talk to you. Mediums, we haven't had any on. I do have a couple people that I going to reach out to. Rick Wade, the psychic, Paranormal Rockdown. Taryn Carper, she does paranormal. Yep. And Robin Terry with Ashmore Estates. They all want to be on the show. So I need to schedule them. That is my list right there. And guys, we really appreciate your support. We really appreciate you guys coming on and watching the show. You guys are all great. And if like Patty said and I said, if you would love to be on the show, just reach out to one of us. We'll make it happen. All we ask for is a picture and a little bit of about yourself, a bio, and then we can share that.
Or you have an idea of someone who would be a great guest, by all means, recommend away.
Absolutely. We love to talk, especially me. I love to talk.
Yeah, it's him. He does.
Yeah. That guy over there, those two guys.
that,
So guys,
Yep.
thanks again for coming. We love it. Thanks for joining us. Stay tuned for next Tuesday. Judy LaChance. Guys, have a good night. Take care.
See you next week.